let's dig into the retrofit projection calculator. What kind of an impact would you see in your company if your technicians who are in the field, face-to-face, toe-to-toe with the customer every single day, were actually looking for opportunities for replacements? It could be huge. I want my technicians, both service and maintenance, to be looking for qualified sales leads. Now, what's a qualified sales lead? We've got it defined right here. And quite frankly, it's as simple as the technician looks at the equipment and looks at, checks the age of it. What's the condition of it? And their job is to basically go back and educate and inform the customer that there's more efficient things out there available today, certainly things that can serve them and provide better levels of comfort. And then we simply ask the customer, would you be interested in finding out what it would cost to get something more to give you better comfort or run more efficiently? And if the customer says yes, they need to pick up the phone, call the office, and schedule that sales call immediately. You don't want them to leave the job, because if they leave the job, you will lose 30% of those sales opportunities. But then how can that impact my company on the revenue side? This calculator will tell you that very clearly. I can simply look and fill in the information on this calculator itself. So how many calls per day will my tech run? Not a day where they're running absolutely silly, and not a day where they're sweeping the shop for the third time today. I'm talking about the typical day. How many service calls will they run? My techs run 5 calls a day on an average day. How many service techs do I have? How many equivalent techs do I have? Right, so in my case, I got 2 full-time service techs, and then I got one guy that splits his time half and half between install and service. And so I'm going to list that I've got 2.5 service techs. How many working days are there per year? Well, again, by the time you factor in holiday, vacation, sick time, you're typically looking at $240 per year. All right, so we've got 240. That's already defaulted in there. You can change it if you want or need to. The rate of calls converted to a qualified sales lead. Again, we define a qualified sales lead. A very doable key performance indicator for your service technicians is they should be able to generate a qualified sales call on at least 12% of all calls they go out on, regardless of the age of the equipment. 12% of the time, they should be able to generate a qualified sales lead. All right, so that's defaulted in there. We're going to leave it at that KPI. Next question. What is your average system replacement cost? So your average sale, what is it? All right, so if you're HVAC, what's the average HVAC sale? If you're plumbing, what's it, whether it's a repipe or whatever the case is, all right? What's your average sale? So in our case, it's $5,500. Next question, and the last one, what's your average closing rate? So once you actually quote the customer, what percentage of those jobs do you actually get? Well, I'm going to say in my case, I'm running just a little bit ahead of halfway, right? So my closing ratio is 55%. Once I quote the job, 55% of the time I can get it. That tells me right here, it's simple math at that point, that if I have 2.5 techs, they're running 5 calls a day, they're working full time, and they generate a qualified sales lead on 12% of the calls they go out on. With an average sale of $5,500 and only closing 55% of those, that would add an extra $1 million in additional sales to the installation side of my company. Simply by looking, opening your eyes and looking, and then educating, informing the customer. Is it worth training your technicians to look for qualified sales leads? Every day of the week. Now, one of the things you need to do is you will need to role play this. Right? Techs hate role play, but if you're not role playing with them, they will tell you, yeah, I got it. I'll be looking for it. Trust me, if they won't do it in the safety and the comfort of your shop, they will never do it in front of the customer. Role play with the customer, with your technicians regularly in getting these qualified sales leads, and you will see the retrofit side of your business increase dramatically. If you have any questions in regards to the retrofit projection calculator, feel free to give us a call at Grandy & Associates.